Welcome everyone. Class is in session, hitting the books on Pub Sports.
This is another exciting edition of the main event on Talkin.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Danny Betts, and this is the Talking Hand Show on Pub Sports Radio, the main event, aka interview edition. I got a special guest, man. I got a treat for you guys. It's a little inspiration because I found out about her story, female boxer, world champion. I found out exactly how she became a champion, what she had to go through. And man, I was inspired. So I had to bring her on here for an interview. WBC super flyweight champion, WBC silver champion, Adelaida Ruiz.
Ruiz,
my bad. Ruiz.
Don't change my last name now. I'm just kidding.
Ruiz. How's it going? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
No problem. And I also saw your birthday was like a couple of days ago, right?
Yeah, it was on Monday.
Happy late birthday.
Thank you.
So we'll get right to it, man. You just became a WBC super flyweight, right? 115 pounds champion. How do you feel about that?
I feel good. I mean, it's a feeling that you can't really explain. I mean, it makes me happy that, I'm finally, won this world title, and then I'm coming up, doors are opening for me. So it's very, I'm proud of myself. I'm very, very happy that I did it.
And I want to apologize again for that last name. You know what screwed me up? Your middle Cobra and then Ruiz together. I'm
yeah. No, it's okay. I'm just playing. I was just kidding.
So I really want to talk about your life story, but before that, I kind of want to talk about like your current fights, the championship fights against, who was it? Sonia Osorio,
yes.
Yeah. So you guys were supposed to fight in 2020, if I'm not mistaken.
No, we did. Oh yeah, we were supposed to fight 2020.
Yeah, I seen that, and it got canceled. I'm guessing
because of COVID. Yes.
So you had to wait, I think, about a year. Until a year, you finally fought her, and she headbutted you, and they decided to call it a draw. How was that experience?
Oh man, it was a sad thing for me because it took a whole year for me to finally get that fight, and we trained so hard. I had no days off, just one day off out of 8 weeks, no days off. I put everything into that fight, and knowing I was going to go out to Mexico, we knew it was kind of, risky going to her territory, but we were so confident that we were going to win that fight. We weren't worried. So when that whole headbutt happened, it was like, wow, it was like taking a candy out of from a baby. Like I almost had it, like they gave it to me and it was taken from me, It was, but it was a good learning experience overall, everything, but it was hard.
Not only that, after that headbutt, which I was watching that fight, I watched the other one, but we'll get to it. I see why she headbutted you, because she just loves to dip her head so much. It's insane. But after that fight, after the draw, didn't you go through an injury or two?
Yes, I had an injury on my right hand. I had a broken knuckle. So my finger came off from my knuckle. So I was out for a couple of months. Not really out from the gym, but I stood in the gym. Not only the fight happened, which got me kind of sad. I kind of went through a little bit, like 4 weeks of sadness, I want to say. I was like in disbelief that happened in the fight. And then my hand broken off, and I was like, no, I got to get it together. So I bounced back to the gym. I started training with one hand, sparring with one hand, and I'm like, no, I can't let this stop me. So yeah.
I imagine like you waiting for your opportunity, then the first fight gets canceled because of COVID, and then you finally fight her, you get her butt, draw, then you break your hand. Mm-hmm. I imagine what you're thinking about. Shout out to everybody in the chat, Chad, Boston Nick. Then you after that injury, you got another fight what was her name? Nancy, I think it was.
Nancy Franco. Yeah, Nancy Franco.
Yes. So you got that fight. But then I think you got another injury right before that fight, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Well, kind of, sort of, yes. It was crazy because on fight week, it was just my last week. We were preparing to, lose water weight and whatsoever. I was sparring and my right side sciatic nerve just went off on me and I couldn't walk. It was fight week and I couldn't walk. I literally couldn't walk. And everybody was like, well, what are you going to do, Cobra? And I'm like, I'm going to fight. Like, this is going to go away and this is going to, I'm going to let it go. Like, it's going to go away. But I couldn't walk. I went with Salvador, I was drinking some ibuprofen and some other medicine the doctor gave me, and I was doing stretches and I was just doing everything in my power. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't going to call it off. If I had to fight like that, I know it's pretty dumb of me, but I just felt like this opportunity wasn't going to go away. Like I didn't want it to go away. I knew we had a really good fight camp and it was just a matter, put it like this, I think I just left it all to God, Fight date came and I didn't feel anything on my back. I felt great. I felt strong and I won. So it was crazy.
How did you win, by the way?
I knockout. So a TKO 9th round. I was just like, wow, like it just knowing what I had just gone through, knowing how Nancy Franco fought, because she's feisty. I mean, we knew it was going to be a hard fight. She had experience. She had everything. And, for her to give me a challenge on that fight, it was, we really didn't think we were going to be able to stop her. We had seen her previous fights and we're like, damn, she's kind of unstoppable. She just keeps coming. She has a lot of heart. So when they called it a TKO, I was like, we did it. Like, I was like, thank God. Like,
That's awesome. To go through all those injuries and then like right before that fight, you get the sciatic nerve, which I know how that feels. That's not great. And still fight and get the knockout. And then after that, you had another fight with Flores and you knocked her out too also.
Yes, in Costa Rica. Yeah.
Yes. And then you finally beat her and then you get another rematch with Osorio.
Yes. Which we wanted the rematch that same year. I mean, we didn't want to go a whole year. We had already offered her to get the rematch and she just, if it wasn't one thing, it was another, so it wasn't given to us. It took us a whole year to get that rematch back, but we wanted it right away.
Right.
Yeah.
So she was pretty much ducking you.
kind of, sort of, yes. We even told the WBC, like, what's going on, and they were like, well, it really wasn't in the contract, And I was like, okay, learning experience for the next time. So that's why the silver title was offered to us. So they could make me a mandatory for her, So we just started learning more about things like that. But yeah, so it took us another year to get that fight.
Yeah. That's why, like, for people that don't know about boxing and they wonder why there's so many belts, that's one of the good things about it, because you can grab one of those, lower belts to make yourself a mandatory for another big belt. So
yes,
shout out to Mrs. Big So in the chat. But yeah, that was awesome. You go to Costa Rica finally to fight Osorio again for the title, and you get the dub. I seen that. I seen some clips of it, man.
Well, before that, we had said we were gonna do it like July, the last week of July. The rematch, the fight was gonna be done then, and then she got COVID, so it canceled again.
Oh, it canceled again. That.
Yeah, it got postponed. But I always say things happen for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. I think everything does. So even though I was like, damn, it got postponed, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna let it get to me. I'm gonna continue training, and then it just came to us. They postponed it, and they postponed it under the zone with Golden Boy Promotions with Marv Nation. So, I mean, it was just something bigger and better, So I was like, thank goodness. Like, everything happens for a reason.
Right. I agree.
A bigger card for me. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. How was that that wasn't your first time in Costa Rica. What, your second or third?
It was my second time. So I fought Flores there in March, and then this second time in September.
Okay. Never been. I bet it's beautiful over there.
Yeah, it is. The first fight was out in San Carlos. This last fight was in San Jose. And I mean, it's really beautiful. It's really nice. People support you out there. It's really good.
For people who don't know, she's La Cobra is 12-0, 6 KOs, 1 draw, which obviously shouldn't have been a draw, but she got the
Yeah.
revenge. She got the title. And I want to talk about like in the beginning, how did you become a boxer?
How did I become a boxer? Well, I was always around boxing since the age of 6, 7 years old because my two older brothers used to box. They were amateur fighters. My dad started coaching as well. So I was always around the gym. But it wasn't until the summer of when I was 11, turning 12, my sister decided to join. Well, my parents, made her join because her cholesterol was super high. She was gaining weight. We were little, but she was gaining weight. My parents were like, no, you know what? She needs to eat better and she needs to at least exercise and stay active. So when she joined, I joined. And then my first sparring in the ring, I just fell in love with the sport and it was history then.
And talk about
Yeah.
your sister. You have a lot of siblings, don't you?
Oh, yes. I come from we're 11 in total. My parents had 11 kids, 6 girls, 5 boys.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot. You had
A
a
lot.
hectic home.
It
Everybody
was a
running
busy
around.
home. Yeah, I come from a big family. I mean, it was hectic, but now that we're all grown, it's beautiful, when we get together. Yeah.
Yeah, so talk us about when you got older, around like 12, 13, 14. That's when you kept boxing and things
Yes,
like
so
that.
I started boxing at 12, 13. I got my first fight. My first fight I lost. I didn't think I lost my fight. I actually did 39 amateur fights. Mostly around, I did California, Washington, Arizona, because back then it wasn't like now. There's more female boxers now. Back then it was rarely any boxers out there, any girl boxers. So even at that, with my sparring partners, I would spar with boys, I sparred with boys all the way till I turned 15. After 15, I started sparring professional boxers. But yeah, I mean, it was a nice boxing amateur career that I had.
Your family's full of boxers, or like your father or your brothers or anything like that?
My dad, he was a street fighter. He was never ever allowed to box. My grandma will find out he was at the boxing gym. She'll get him out of there, So he was never allowed to box. That was his dream, to be a professional boxer, but he couldn't do it. But he's an excellent coach, very smart. My brothers and sisters, they all did amateur boxing, but none of them turned professional. Yeah.
Oh, so you're the only one.
I'm the only one. Well, yeah, I actually laid off. I had a almost 10-year layoff from boxing because I got pregnant at 17. And I did try coming back at 19, but it was hard having a baby. So I kind of took almost 10 years off of boxing, and I came back to turn professional and be a world champion.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I want to get to. So you have your first kid at 17. If I'm not mistaken, at 21 you had 3. Your last one was 21.
Yes, my last son, I was already 21.
So you had three children.
Yes.
And after that, you were working full-time
I
job.
still work full time.
Exactly. Full-time job. This is where I learned the story. I'm like, wow, man, she's motivating me. I'm over here like, I got a full-time job. I gotta do some extra shit too. But yeah, full-time job at 21 with 3 kids. And take us to a path where you were at in life, like right there. I know there was a bunch of like rough patches there in your life around like 21 to 25.
Oh yeah, I am a single mom. I've been always the main provider for my children. I was in a 17-year relationship with my high school sweetheart. But he was always in and out of jail. I was in a domestic type of violence, type of home with my children until I was like, that's enough. You know, I left that behind in 2014, 2015. That's when I got back into boxing and decided to, you know, even though I always said I was going to go back to boxing, that was it was like, I always say everything's meant to be. So I don't know why then, but I mean, I always said when my youngest turns 5, I will go back to boxing and, you know, try to fulfill my dream. And everything just fell into place. You know, I left that behind. I left that abusive relationship behind, and I got into boxing. And with my 3 kids, yes, it was hard because I would take them with me, and it was really hard. You know, sometimes I was like, damn, you know, a lot of things will happen to me. You know, for a week, maybe a week, almost 2 weeks, I didn't really have a place to go, you know, with my kids. I was going from home to home with my kids really didn't have a stable home, and things would just happen to me back to back to back. And I'm like, damn, like everything keeps happening to me, but I'm like, I'm not going to give up. Like, I'm going to pull this through. Like, God has me. And yeah, I mean,
And
he has
that's
me even till now.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I admire about you, because your determination is through the roof. Like what she just said, she's 21 up to 24, 25, single mom, going through her things with her relationship. Yeah, you said a couple of weeks homeless, even bouncing around house to house. And I think at 25, you became like real into the gym, becoming a boxer again.
Well, I think I went back at 27. That I
27.
pro debuted at 27, but I went back to the gym. I stepped back into the gym, and it was 2014, 2015. I don't remember. I know I left 2004, so maybe 2015. I don't know, around that time. I decided to go back to the gym. Yeah.
So your first fight as a pro was at 27.
At 27, yes.
How did that go?
I'm always so hard on myself, honestly. I mean, it was nice. I had a lot of people supporting me. You know, when people found out Cobra was back in the gym and she was turning professional and I was fighting, like that arena, not arena, but that I fought at the Quiet Canyon in Montebello. It was full. Everybody, you should have seen like everybody with Cobra t-shirts, like everybody was there, you know, and it felt so good to see my people there supporting me, you know. But at the same time, I got nervous, something that I really didn't know about. I never got nervous in any of the fights, you know. So being in that ring again and seeing my people was like, damn, maybe they're expecting the same Cobra I was when I was 17. And so that kind of, you know, I was nervous. It was, you know, but I mean, I won unanimous decision that fight. I fought that fight at 126 pounds.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And I know throughout your career, especially late, I know you had a couple of haters and things like that, but they actually motivated you. You know, I know you went through some stuff like people saying like, why are you starting to fight again at this age?
Yeah.
How did you feel after, you know, all these haters talking to you like that?
You know what? That motivated me, and then I did it for myself as well. But you know, for people to just to make little comments here and there, like the first one, you know, when I did come back into boxing, I went to this Desert Showdown tournament, and that coach there, you know, he seen that I was back in boxing. And he was like, Cobra, what are you doing? You know, you should have been a champion by now. Like, you're too old already, you know? And I'm like, oh, really? Like, I felt, you know, it did get to me, but I'm like, I'm going to show you, you know? So when I was looking for a promoter to fight with or whatever, I just seen there was a lot of snakes out there, you know? And I would hear it a lot, and then people would be like, oh, well, you know, you're already older and this and like little things here and there. And I'm like, really? Like, seriously? Is that the card we're taking out, that I'm an old, you know, like, come on. Like, and I would tell my dad, like, you know, do you really think I'm old to come back? And he was like, no, you're not. If anything, you're at your prime. This is the time, you know, this is your time. Like, you're ¿cómo me dijo? Que ya estaba hecha like mujer. You get me? Like, my power was there.
It molded you.
I was molded already. You know, I wasn't so, even my dad had to like talk me out of it. But yeah, it's, I mean, every morning I'll go running, you know, preparing myself for that pro debut. And now think about it like, damn, Cobra, ¿en qué te metistas? You know, like, damn, this is a lot. Like, this is a lot of responsibility. Yeah. But I was like, nope, I'm going to prove people wrong. And I did. It's never
and now,
too late.
man, I feel like you probably have that, like, clockwork. You know, you go train and you're used to, you know, being home, taking care of the kids and things like that. They're older. But it's got to be tough. It's got to be.
Man, it's tough. Yes, my kids are older. It seems like, okay, I came back to boxing. My kids were little. It was really hard, right? And then I have my routine, my schedule, which I have to. You know, I had to prioritize my time. So it's mainly my work, my kids, and boxing. That's all. There's like no time for anything else. But I had this kind of like this. My kids got it to an age where it got easy for me. You know, I was able to go run in the morning without knowing like, oh man, they're going to wake up, or I need somebody to babysit them so I could go train. You know, they got to an age where I was able to just go run, come home without, you know, not having so much I don't know, you know, but now they're teenagers, and I feel like now I'm stressing out a little bit more because now they're teenagers. It seems like they need me again, just like they needed me when they were little, you know. So it's really hard. It's really hard. Yeah,
I don't blame you. I don't have a teenager, but I do have like a 2-year-old, so I can't leave him alone.
Is it a girl or is it a boy?
It's a boy, but yeah, he's hectic. Oh no, he's full of energy. But yeah, and then after that, you know, you have your run. And when did you get the silver belt? The WBC.
The silver was September 25th of 2021.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
so
that's when I fought with Franco.
Right.
Yes.
And then after that, you just got the title. So
yes.
So I like asking this to athletes and boxers and things like that. After, you know, having to train and weight cut and after the fight, what's your go-to post-fight like meal? You know, we're Hispanic. We love our food. I don't know if you are strict with that.
You know, I have became like, I don't know if it's because I'm maturing a little bit more, but before, you know, after my fights, I'll go pig out. Like it was crazy, you know, and then I'll feel sick and I'm like, why do I do this all the time? You know, now is instead of trying to pig out or eat or whatever, like I try to eat a good pasta, or, you know, like this last time I had a pasta with some seafood on the side. It's something small. I didn't feel full. I didn't feel, you know, I didn't feel bloated. And then after that, I mean, I think I got disciplined enough to where, yes, maybe I'll eat a taco here and there, but not 6 to 9 tacos like I used to before, you know?
Yeah. Not like me. I love my tacos. Taco Tuesdays.
Yeah, you see, before I was, in between my fights, I would gain so much weight. I was so undisciplined. But now I think I could control it where I could eat here and there, but I won't overdo it. Yeah.
Talking about weight, you're at 115 right now, and you know what I was looking at? What's her name? Lourdes Ruiz?
Oh, yes. No,
Juarez. Horrible names. You can tell. She just lost. Didn't she just lose her title?
She just lost her title. They were smart enough. Their contract, they put a rematch. So yeah, because as soon as she lost, my promoter contacted Gonzalez's team, you know, to try to make that happen for me. And they were like, no, we have to give the rematch because it was on the contract, you know?
Okay.
So they should be fighting soon. I don't think Juarez lost like that. Gonzalez.
I was gonna ask you because it was a majority decision, right?
It was, yes. So what Juarez did, she went to her territory as well. Every time you go to a boxer or the other opponent's territory, is like you have to.
Hold on. She's the champion, and she went to her.
Yes.
What?
Yes, exactly.
That's ballsy.
Yeah, it is. So I was just like, wow. Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. So you think she lost or won?
Um, I think it could have gone a draw actually.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it could have gone a draw. I don't think it was the other girl did too many points out there or whatever, but she kept coming forward, forward, forward,
Right.
forward. So I think the judges what they were looking at,
Yeah.
But Juarez did se quitó muchos golpes off of her. Like she moved a lot. So I don't
Yeah.
know what the judges were looking or what, but yeah.
So it's a true rematch then. It's not like one of those like she got beat,
Yeah, no,
easily and
it's a rematch.
um so damn, that sucks because I was hoping you were gonna try to call her out.
Yeah,
But
no.
who's next in line? I know that fight's gonna come up later on. Who else is out there that you think is gonna fight? You're gonna fight next?
Well, we've been calling out the IBF, Micaela as well. I mean,
Okay.
we called her out last year, and then I guess she had an injury, and she said she was gonna call us when she was ready, and then we seen she did a defense, and I was like, come on, like really? So
Right.
then I was like, okay, it's a lot of hard work on the back end that people
Mm-hmm.
don't know of.
Yep.
So I actually wasn't ranked on the IBF. Under their rankings. So my promoter had to actually call them and see what's going on with that. And now I'm ranked number 2. So what we're trying to do is make myself mandatory, for her, like me be the next one, like for her to do her
Mm-hmm.
defense on. So she just actually fought as well. So I don't think she's going to want to fight anytime
Yeah.
soon. I think she's going to want to fight until the beginning of next year. Juarez Gonzalez has to happen. WBA, I think she just fought as well, and WBO as well. So we're just like,
A
you know,
standstill. Yeah.
yeah,
Going back to that Juarez. What was her name again? Gonzalez fight.
Gonzalez. Yes.
Um, are you kind of rooting for Gonzalez because if she loses, they probably fight again after that
You know what?
trilogy?
It's either or. I just want that title, because
Right.
we did call
Yeah.
out Juarez. We did call out Juarez, and they had told us she wasn't ready, or blah blah blah, or she was just yeah. It was yeah.
Excuses.
So we called her out already. So either or, it doesn't matter. That's the reason we went for the silver interim, and now it's mandatory. It has to. It's on
You
paper. It's
yeah, you did it the right way. Like if they don't want to fight you, hey, I'm gonna make you fight me. You know what I mean?
And
So
then what people don't know as well is that I think they have a year for me. It's crazy. The things that are out there
mhm,
to go to the top is crazy. It's like you
yeah,
got to go step by step if the other champion is not trying to budge with you. It
yeah.
takes time
I got a
and
couple friends.
patience.
Yeah, I got a couple friends that are professional boxers, and I know all the little steps, and all the little things they gotta go through, man. Like the cancellations, the injuries, the COVID. Like my buddy, he's gonna be actually on a Jake Paul card, on the 29th.
Mm-hmm.
He in during the whole COVID year, he probably had like 7 cancellations. It was
Oh
crazy.
wow,
It was
yeah,
nuts. So it was like 2 years down the drain, pretty much. So I know how
yeah.
you
We
feel.
always yeah.
Yeah. So talking about that for being a mandatory for the girl you're trying to fight, what would be your next step? What belt would
Uh,
you have to get? Or
for like for all of them, you mean?
no,
Because
I
I'm
forget
trying to go
who.
for all of them.
Oh, I
I'm
know
just kidding.
that. I know.
Which
I
one?
know
The
you.
IBF?
Yeah, IBF. IBF.
IBF. Well, we're trying to be ranked number 1 under the rankings as well, because I think they have as number 1 somebody that hasn't fought for over a year, so she shouldn't even be right there. And then if that doesn't happen, the IBF does have the vacant interim title there's that we're willing to fight for, so we could be man, like go through the steps again, so I could get there. Yeah.
Yeah, and you were ranked number 2. You said right, IBF.
An IBF number 2. Yes, I'm
Yeah, so
currently
I
number
mean that
2.
number 1 spot should be yours if she hasn't been active for over a year.
Exactly. And then what's crazy is the WBA doesn't even have me on the rankings. I'm like, what the hell? They have some. other girls on there, and I'm like, okay, like
You
how
probably
is that
you have to call them too.
exactly? So yeah, so
You
we'll be
said
working.
your dad or somebody called IBF,
Yeah, so
and
my
you
promoter.
were you weren't even in the rankings, and then they put you number two. Like,
Yeah,
come on, they should have been.
yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. But you know how I asked you about the post fight meal and things like that. What's your favorite thing to do after being in a hard training camp and hard fights and things like that?
Um, be with my family. Yeah,
Yep,
it's a
that's
lot
number
of
one.
sacrificing away from my family. And even though I do live with my kids, when I'm in camp, it's like I don't spend time with them. Like it's really I wake up, train, get them, drop them off to school, go to work, after work, straight to the gym. I'm there till almost 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. I get home. I do make dinner for them, but I can't sit there and have dinner with them. I make them dinner. Here you guys go. Go to shower, go to bed because I got to wake up the next day. Our weekends is full of sparring training. It's just I don't have time with them.
Yeah,
So after my fights, I like to spend time with them, and then with just overall, like even though my dad is my coach, it's not a family thing, it's we're
yeah, it's
he's my
work.
coach, and yeah, it's just work. So I just like to spend time with my brothers and my sisters, get together and just be with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know your dad is probably like totally different being your coach and then your dad, relax
Oh
time,
yeah.
whatever.
Oh,
How's
for
that?
sure.
How's that relationship when
Oh man,
you're in
it's
training
it's
camp?
it's tough. He actually just became my main head coach 3 years ago. Was it 3 years? 2018, 18, 19, I don't know. Because we couldn't work together. We just clashed so much. I don't listen. I don't want to do things the way he's telling me. And it's hard. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
hard. It's
Yeah,
really
because
hard.
once you got that relationship, obviously father and daughter, you could get away. You guys talk to each other, however, it's not like there's boundaries when it's somebody else, unless you grew up with that person.
Yeah.
So I can see, like my buddy, he's got his uncle as his corner. Oh, they go at it, like
Yes,
they go at it.
exactly.
So
Exactly. I started working on that because we actually had a little fight going on before. And he was like, "Well, I'm not coaching you no more." And I'm like, "Well, fine." But then I was just like, "You know what? Like I need to stop being the way I am."
yeah,
So my last camp, I was just like, "Okay, you want me to do that? Okay, I'm gonna do that." Like I have to listen. I need to listen. Like I need to stop being so hard. So I'm working on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another thing too. I want people to know, like, it's a different perspective when you're fighting in there. It's a different view, and I imagine your father. He sees a couple things in there. Again, maybe your opponent is leaving a couple open spots. Um,
Yes.
and I can see, the adrenaline and fighters being, hard headed. Like, oh, hold on, let me do it my way. Is that the
Mm-hmm.
type of fight you have usually with him?
Well, you know what? With Franco, I listened all the way. Like everything he told me to do, I did. I was cutting it short, and because of my whole back injury and everything, I didn't want to miss any spot. I didn't trust. I trusted myself, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put this trust on my dad because he's the one out looking. So everything he told me to do, I did. I wasn't gonna risk it. With
Right.
Osorio, this last fight. I listened, but should have listened a little bit sooner, when he told me to do things. But I was so focused on her head not to headbutt me
Yeah.
that I didn't do what we worked for. I didn't do anything that he told me to do when he told me to do it. I think I did it
Yeah.
too late. I started working on it too late because I was so I was so focused on her head. I kept trying to keep her away from me, and when I tell that to people, they're like, "Oh yes, now that you say yes, that's
Yeah.
what you were doing. You were
Like,
trying to keep her away." And I'm like, "Yes, I didn't want her close to my head because she did hit. She hit me once, and I was like, okay, she is coming again."
for
Yeah.
sure. Shout out to my guy Nasty Nate. But yeah, if you guys got a time in the chat, like, go check out Sonia Osorio's like highlights. She dips her head like crazy. Like she's trying to do it on purpose. That's how it looks like. So I understand where you're coming
That's what
from.
my mom said. She's like,
Yeah,
it seemed like she was
it's
trying to do it on purpose. And I'm like, I
it's.
don't know.
I
But
didn't
she,
get it. I'm like, what is she doing? So I understood how you felt. So it might have been a good thing that you didn't listen in the beginning because you're trying to be cautious and things like that. But another thing I like to ask, who are your? It could be all time, doesn't matter, recent, current, or in the past. Who are your favorite boxers? Three favorite boxers of yours?
it has to be Pacquiao, Mayweather, and I like Canelo a lot. I know a lot of people don't like
Okay,
him, but I am a Canelo
and niggas
fan.
haters.
Yeah, I like how, he's smart. I think he's a very
Yes.
smart boxer. Mayweather was an extremely smart boxer. A lot of people like to talk crap about him. He runs a lot. Hey, he's still there, he's not
I'm
brain
one.
damaged.
I admit it. I talk a little bit of crap about him,
Yeah, I
but
think he
I
was just
respect him. He's one of the best. I do admit that for sure.
yeah.
And why? I was gonna say, why do you like these guys or your top favorite?
Well, Mayweather, I think he's just a very smart boxer. He just did what he had to do in there, and he rarely got hit like that. He'll hit and bounce like he was in there no more. Canelo, I feel, I love his body punches, his style,
Yes.
his hook. I also think he's a very smart fighter, very strong, fast. And then Pacquiao was just, a warrior. Like
Mm-hmm.
this dude would just, he would just come on. Like it was a
Yeah.
fight. Pacquiao was fighting. You knew a fight was coming. Like there was no running. There
Yeah.
was no, he was there to fight. So
So fast. So
all his fights
bouncy.
were exciting.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Going up
And I
weight
like,
classes.
and I like his backstory as well.
Yes. Yes, I
Yes.
respect it
I
too.
respect them for that. I respect them for that.
Talking about like Pacquiao. Is that a plan of yours? To like go up in weight classes.
Yes, because my weight class when I was an amateur boxer, I used to fight at 125. Between
Okay.
125 and 130, that was my weight class. My pro debut, it was a 126. So that's my goal. So, but that was because I wasn't disciplined again. But now we're doing it differently. So yes, I got rid of all the fat. I got disciplined with my food. So my goal is to become a world champion in different divisions. I'm going for the 115, 118, 122, and lastly, before I retire, I want to do at least a 126. You know, but the nice way,
Right.
the right way. So
I think it'll start flying once find your way at 115. Get these fights going. Everybody keeps ducking you for some reason. They know why.
yeah,
But once you get those belts in 115, I think the sky's the limit, and then you'll start going up weight classes because you're gonna be mandatory anyways once you move up and wait for the next fight.
yes,
So
yes.
they're asking your female boxers. Who do you like as Give me a couple of female boxers you look up to or like currently.
I currently like Michaela Mayer. I like her. I like Clarissa Shields. I respect Clarissa Shields, her backstory as well. And then, she's a world Olympian. She
Yeah,
did it twice, and she's a unified. What's it called? Like she has all the titles, and she only had
undisputed, undisputed.
undisputed. Yeah, and she only has how many? I mean, she hasn't ducked anybody. She hasn't had no easy opponents. She just went straight to it, and I love it. Christy Martin. I really didn't watch Christy Martin growing up. I really didn't know about her, but I loved her documentary on Netflix, and I'm like, wow. It kind of, gave me like,
Yeah,
damn,
yeah,
like maybe one day I could do that, like
right.
tell people what I been through, and it's just, it's crazy. So yeah, Christy Martin has all my respects.
I mean, that's how I feel about you. I'm like, I gotta get her on so she could, tell her story. It's crazy. Talking about the minor fight. Did you see that live?
The
There was
which
a
one?
lot of Micaiah
Oh,
Meyer.
Michaela Mayer's fight, yes, and with Alicia.
How do you think about that fight? A lot of people are saying robbery. She
You know what?
won.
It was. I'm gonna be honest with you. I scheduled an interview at the same time, so I only watched until maybe the sixth round. I
Okay.
think, like fifth, sixth round. Alicia did get the first three rounds. I give it to her.
Yeah.
Fourth round was kind of like, um, it could have gone either way. But
Yeah.
then the fifth round, the sixth round, I felt like Michaela picked up and kind of was timing her, and Alicia started missing a lot. So then after that, I don't know what happened. I just know it was a good fight. I
Yeah. It
have to
was a good
rewatch
fight.
it. Yeah.
Honestly, me, I saw a lot of the fight. I was somewhere watching a couple of other things. It could have been one of those fights. It could have went either way. It depends what you liked.
Mm-hmm.
Alicia looked like she had a little bit more power in her punches,
Power.
which right,
Yes.
which we all knew that. And then
Yes.
Mayer was more technical about it and things like
Yes.
that. I actually got Alicia in that one, man. I thought it was the right call. I was surprised at how many people thought Mayer won robbery wise. I
Yeah.
didn't think it
Oh
was a
no,
robbery.
no, no. I don't
For
think it
me,
was
I
robbery.
thought it could go either way. But the
Mm-hmm.
robbery part, I'm like, I don't think it was a robbery, but
Yeah, no, I give that to Alicia. Alicia had a lot of power, and she was throwing mostly all power punches. Every
yeah,
every punch she would throw, it was a power punch. The
yeah.
only thing that I'm just like, damn, I wish, because I guess Alicia doesn't want to give her the rematch. She said no.
I heard, I
So
heard.
I'm just like,
I
man,
mean,
they should. It's like
yeah,
another like Marlene with
Serrano
Anissa Estrada.
or that. Yep, that one too.
Yeah, I would love to see the rematch against them as well. Like it's
Yep,
just those fights that I wish rematches would happen.
for sure. Because you can watch
Yeah.
them fight like every day.
Yeah.
But
Well, like you said Serrano and Taylor,
yeah,
right?
Taylor, that
I
one.
seen Taylor won that fight, but a lot of people seen Serrano, so I
Right,
mean
exactly.
that's another
I'm
one.
Puerto Rican. I'm not biased though. I keep it real.
Yeah.
It was a close fight,
Yes.
but the way Taylor ended the fight made me think she won because she
Mm-hmm.
finished strong. Serrano kind of after she had Taylor hurt, what round 7, 6?
I think it was
She
a
kind
fifth round or
yeah, some
six. I think.
mid fight.
Yes.
She kind of pulled back a little bit. And
Yes.
Taylor, got her mojo back and started finishing
She
strong.
recovered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're tough, man. Talk about that. I heard you would love to fight Serrano.
I would at 126.
That'd be
Yeah.
dope. That would be
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
I'll definitely watch that one
Yeah.
for
Yeah, for
sure.
sure.
So in the chat they're asking, have you ever been interested in MMA training?
No, I've been asked that question a lot of times. It's gonna be funny and all, but I think MMA is very violent, and I don't like
Whoa, hold up.
it.
Before you continue, I'm gonna let you know that Pub Sports Radio right here, we're huge on UFC and
It's
MMA.
so violent. So I
we
can't
go
even watch it.
we do live streams. We'll be like, we're so hardcore. Like tomorrow morning, we're gonna do a live stream at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
That's when the fights start because
Oh man, you know what?
it's
I
in
can't
Abu
even
Dhabi.
watch it. I feel oh my I can't, I'm like this all I can't watch it. It's so violent.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's
I
crazy. It's
love
a
it.
crazy sport, and I give all the fighters like huge like they must have like oh my gosh, I swear
yeah,
like balls
yeah,
to be
they
able to do
do.
that.
It's nuts. Even the women, like they get in there and they do the
Oh
thing, man.
yeah, I see that.
But because Clarissa Shields actually did MMA and things like that too, a
Yes, like
couple of fights.
Serrano, Clarissa, a couple
Yep.
of boxers that I know they've done MMA. It's just I don't think I could do it.
Even if you offer you a big contract, you wouldn't do
Yeah, even if they, yeah, no. Hmm.
it.
I think I fell in love with boxing as a sport,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
but just because I feel that I have it under control. It's to me, it's like it's challenging and I could learn, and there's always new things I could learn from it, and I have all the control. It's up to
right,
me.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about sports that like when it comes to combat sports like boxing, UFC, it's just you. You don't gotta worry about
Hmm.
your teammate. I mean, yeah, you got your coaches and things like that or judges at the end of the day, but it's just you going out there trying to do your best. So I imagine that's one reason why you picked boxing.
Yes. Well, boxing picked me. Not just kidding.
Your dad kind of like, come on.
Put me in there now.
But to finish up with the interview, I want to give you the floor for any like shout outs or any things like that. Tell people where to follow you, social media. Yeah, any last
Um,
words?
Well, yeah, no. Well, I want to just give a huge thank you to my dad for having all the patience in the world for me, and to stepping up and being my coach, my mom, my kids, all my fans and supporters that, believe in me, follow me, travel with me. It's beautiful, My sponsors that have been there for me since like day one, which is Keg Sluggers, South Central Boxing, um, Everlast, they believe in me. They said, you will become a world champion. And I did it, they've been there. And, my promoter for working with me, even before I signed with him, he told me, I'm going to take you to be, I'm gonna make you a world champion. And he did it for me, he gave me the opportunity. Big shout out to HCC Apparel, Ramiro, for being there as well with me since day one. I don't ever forget nobody, that's been there for me. And you guys could follow me and on Instagram at La Cobra _ Ruiz and Facebook Adelaida Ruiz.
Yes. Oh, real quick, I forgot to
Yes.
ask you, how did you get that nickname?
La Cobra was given by my first coach that I got. He just said that when I sparred the first time I did sparring, he's like, "You're like a cobra. You're fast. You're dangerous, fast, and when you attack, you don't let go. Like that's it for the other one. They're done." Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
definitely
where it came from, La Cobra.
awesome nickname. I appreciate you spending time here. Let people know about your story, how you became a champion. I can't wait till your next fight. Hopefully, these females don't duck you anymore.
I hopefully
I'll
not.
keep in contact on Instagram and see if you get a scheduled fight. Hopefully, make sure you call IBF and whoever you gotta call. Make sure you're in the right rankings.
And
'Cause,
yes, exactly. Well,
yeah,
we're on that.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wish you luck on your future fights.
Thank you so much.
This is the main event. Catch us on Tuesdays at 7:30 Eastern with me and Preston. Always breaking down the best boxing matches coming up on Saturdays. We got the Jake Paul fight coming up this weekend, so tune in on Tuesdays. And thank you for tuning in.
Bye.